All right, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Hope everyone is doing wonderful. So happy to have you here on the training as we dive in this today. Today, we're going to be talking about routines. Specifically, we're going to talk about our morning routine. Now, I always like to start out by first asking, have you ever had a day that didn't go as you planned? I'm sure everybody in here has had some pretty crazy days, right? Some crazy days where all sorts of things happen and the day didn't go as you were imagining. I know for me, something that just came up a couple months ago and was basically like a nightmare in actuality. But I have a number of rental properties, and the one day I was working and I got a call from one of my tenants, and he was telling me how some wind came and blew some branches down and leaves down. And I'm at the same time on the call, I'm working on my laptop. And then he mentions how a tree fell down and landed on the roof. And it's like, what? Huh? Say that one more time. You know, and it's like, even though I had a very good day planned out that day, having the tree come down changed it, right? Instead of following with my plan that I had for myself, I went to the property. I'm on the phone with the insurance and roofers and chainsawing branches up. But no matter how the day went, and I'm sure you have your share of crazy days that everything hit the fan. But no matter what, we always have two constants in our days. We have, and I'm going to call them our bookends. Every day, we always wake up, and every night, we always go to bed. That's constant. That's always the same. And we're always in control of that. Even if you have a day where a tree comes down on your roof, or if everyone is pulling for your attention, you always get up in the morning and you're always going to go to bed in the morning. Those are our bookends. And it's important to treat these like sacred time. This is your time. During the whirlwind of the day, your time and your energy might get pulled by something else, some other activity, some other person. But those times, first thing in the morning, at the end of the day, that's your time. That's for you. Okay? It's scheduled sacred time for you to devote towards whatever you want. All right, whether it's reading, whether you're going to take, maybe even it's just taking 10 minutes of complete silence. Maybe that's what's important to you, or it's working out, reviewing your goals, many different other things. It's worth having this time to invest in yourself. Right? Just like investing in yourself by getting programs or other things you can do to invest in yourself, taking time to invest in yourself is also worth it. You are worth it. Other people are constantly pulling for your time and your energy throughout the day. Take these times in the beginning of the day and at the end of the day to invest your time into you, into yourself. Now, one of the analogies I'm going to keep coming back to throughout this training is how this is your top button. And what I mean by that is, have you ever been buttoning up a shirt and you're buttoning, and you get to the bottom and then you realize you missed a button, right? And your shirt is offset. Well, there's an easy way to prevent that. If you start with the top button, all the other buttons fall in line. And very similar to that is how our morning and end of the day routines go. If we have a strong morning routine where we have control, the rest of the day very easily follows. How we start our day lots of times determines how the rest of our day goes. Now, yes, you're going to have some days where, a tree falls on a roof, but if you also think about how your attitude is, if you get up in the morning and you're behind, the rest of the day you're probably going to be also behind and rushed. However, if you get up in the morning and you take time to find peace and to have a positive attitude, even if you have something crazy like a tree come down on your roof, you can still be in the right mindset to have a positive attitude throughout the day. Now, most of the time, you don't have crazy things like trees coming down on your roof. And if you get up in the morning and you are scheduled, organized, disciplined the rest of the day, you could be scheduled, organized, and disciplined too. How your morning goes is going to affect the rest of your day. There's lots of studies that show this. If you grit up and you have a relaxed pace, disciplined morning, the rest of your day should follow. Now, your morning is going to affect how the rest of your day goes, and then your day is going to affect how the rest of your life goes, right? If every morning you're rushed and behind, then all your days are going to be rushed and behind, and then your entire life, you're going to be rushed and behind. So getting this morning routine right, it's worth mastering, right? When you have a good morning routine, even when everything hits the fan, the whirlwind of the day, you still had your morning routine, your end of the day routine that you had full control of to make sure you're doing the things that you want to do that's your time. A lot of times people say how you do anything is how you do everything. You might have probably even seen this with other people. I know if I have a client who is always late for our meetings, I'm probably safe to assume that most things they're also late to, right? They're probably late towards their doctor's appointments or their oil change appointment, all these different things. How you do one thing is most of the time how you do lots of different things. If you meet somebody who's lazy at work, they're probably lazy with their home activities also. You might have heard the saying, if you want something done, give it to a busy person. If you know a busy person who's really good at getting things done, if you want something done, give it to him versus the guy who has a ton of free time and is always complaining, or even just always has a ton of free time. Most of the time, it's because he's not doing things. If you give him another thing to do, he's just not going to do it. Now, I know I've been talking about your top button. I would say this button right here, the one almost at the top, this is your morning routine. This is your end of the day routine. That top, the one that you got to stuck your neck in to get buttoned, that's your end of the day routine. Because if you have a good end of the day routine and you get to bed on time, it's going to be a lot easier to have your morning routine, right? If you go to bed on time and you get everything prepared and ready for your morning routine, now you can get up and have a phenomenal morning routine. So that's your tippy top button, is your end of the day routine. Now, benefits of having end of the day routines and morning routines. It's going to boost your confidence, especially your morning routine. If you get up in the morning and before you've made it to work, you've already gotten up, worked out, prayed, read, had a healthy breakfast, helped get your kids to school. By the time you show up at work, you're more confident to go take on more things because you've already accomplished so much. And it's only 7:30 in the morning, right? It's also healthier. If you get up at the same time and go to bed at the same time, it's so healthy for your body to be in a routine like that, especially when you have healthy morning routine and end of the day routines that include, drinking water, getting some exercise. It's going to boost your attitude, right? If you get up in the morning and you have time for silence, for peace, to read, do something you enjoy, journal, and then you go throughout the day, that person's going to have a more positive attitude than the person who gets up at the very last minute and is rushed, running through, running, trying to get to work, speeding down the road in a hurry, stressed, right? You're going to have a better attitude. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have more motivation, right? If it's 7:30 in the morning and you've already accomplished 6 different things, you have more motivation to go out and accomplish a lot more. You're going to have more peace. Taking time for yourself, it's going to help you to have more inner peace. Productivity, similar. How you start your days, how the rest of your day goes. I know probably one of the days where I experience this a lot for myself. Now, all of these, there's a lot of studies, and if you want to see some, I'm happy to send you over studies that show where these come from. But I know for me, when I was in college, it seemed like the days where I had, let's say, 4 or 5 classes in a day, right, that I was really busy, those were the days I was the most productive with all my homework, with all my studying, because I would get up and I would go to class and then I would get things done. I would go to the next class. I'd get more things done. I would be a lot more productive those days than the days where I had lots of free time. The Friday where I only had one class at 2 in the afternoon. It's like the whole day, you get up, you sleep in, then you have a really slow breakfast. The whole day is occupied by one class. Okay. And it's just once you get yourself in the motion of being productive, it's a lot easier to stay in the motion of being productive. So having a productive morning routine is going to affect the rest of your day. Improves concentration and it'll also give you more emotional stability. So I'm going to pull up a list of a bunch of different things to include in your morning routine. We're going to start with the morning routine. If you printed out the PDFs, go ahead and grab the morning routine PDF and get it out. I'm going to go through a list of lots of the different things that I like to include in a morning routine. However, you don't have to put all of them in there. Actually, I wouldn't recommend you only pick 2 or 3 that you're going to add into your morning routine. If you try and add 8 different things into your morning routine, most of the time you're going to be setting yourself up for failure, right? That's a really large change to make all at once. I would say the only probably reason I would do it is if you're already going through some sort of change. If you're about to start a new job and it's going to affect your morning routine, hey, that's a great time to add some new things into your morning routine because you're already going through a large change. Or maybe you just move to a new house or move to a new city. great time to make a lot of change. But if you've been in the same routine already for a year, 5 years, or 20 years, I would start small, maybe add 2 or 3 things into your morning routine, and then let the habit grow from there. You can always add more things in. I'd rather you have a routine with 2 or 3 things in it that you do every single day than a routine with 6 things in it that you do the first 2 days and then never do again, right? So here's some different things. First one, schedule time to pray, meditate, or just have silence, right? Find that inner peace first thing in the morning. For health, do something to move around, whether that's exercise. It can be something large like go to the gym, or it could be I'm going to do 10 push-ups, or I'm going to go on my elliptical for 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be a major commitment. And just like I was mentioning earlier, especially with exercise, I'd rather start small and grow from there. Maybe you think I'm going to get up and I'm going to run 5 miles every morning. But if you only do that half the time, and then in a month from now, you're doing it 0% of the time, I would much rather you say, hey, I'm going to get up and I'm going to run just 1 mile in the morning. Okay? You can probably get up, run a mile, and be back home, run through your neighborhood and be back home in 10 to 15 minutes, right? That's a lot easier to put into your morning routine than saying, hey, I'm going to add this new routine that it takes 45 minutes. Fuel. What are you gonna eat? I have a smoothie every morning with a whole bunch of vitamins and seeds and different things that are nutritional. But whether it's eating, maybe you're not even eating a breakfast and you want to add that in, even if it's a small breakfast, or you want to change and make something a little bit healthier, make eggs versus get up and have a donut. Drink water. We lose water as we're sleeping. Make sure we're replenishing and rehydrating ourselves. Review and set goals. What are you going to do for your self-help? You could read a book, you could watch videos, you could listen to a podcast, an audiobook. Review your coming day. Now, I say review your coming day because ideally, I like to plan my day out the night before. And I highly, highly, highly recommend this. Plan my day out the night before and then get up in the morning and review the day. I schedule thinking time. This is important and probably something that's underrated. Having time just to think through things. That's going to lead to having inner peace. Now, I kind of lump this in with journaling. I don't know if you've heard the expression, think on paper, right? I sit down and I put my thoughts on paper. Gratitude. If you use the Goal Crazy Planner, the gratitude is in there. It's going to help shift your focus to the positive things in your life. If I ask you right now, hey, why is today a terrible day? I'm sure you can find reasons. Oh, this happened, or it's cloudy, and one of my coworkers called off sick, so now there's more work on my plate. Right? We can always find reasons why there's bad things going on. But in the same way, we can always find reasons why there's good things going on. If I ask you, hey, why is today an amazing day? You can create a list of reasons why today's an amazing day. So by starting with gratitude, we're going to shift our attention to all the positive things and the things that we're grateful for in our day. And one little side note with gratitude, obviously you can think of external things like you're grateful for your family or for your job, but also sometimes think of things that you're grateful for about yourself. Maybe you're grateful for your ability to connect with others or your ability to learn quickly. If you take time to reflect on reasons why you're grateful for yourself, it's going to help you improve your self-esteem and feel more confident about yourself first thing in the morning. Okay, then fear journaling. As I talked to you about scheduling thinking time, I like to take things that are on my mind and put them on paper. And really, my question for you is your mind available to you? A lot of times we have these things we're worried about, stressing about, anxious about, that are occupying our mind. And our mind isn't actually available for us to focus on the things we want to. And by fear journaling or taking these things and putting them on paper, now it's better instead of having these fears bouncing around in our head where they're starting to affect our actions and our decisions, I can pull them out of my head, put them on paper, and now I can think clearer. So taking time to journal. Fix your bed. Great routine to be in. Quick win. Get yourself on the right track. Maybe there's things you need to do to prepare for work, whether it's pack a lunch, get your briefcase pulled together, your backpack, whatever it is. Now, this is just examples of things. What I want you to do is get your PDF. I want you to pause the video and go ahead and set a timer on your phone for 2 minutes and I want you to make a list of things you want to include in your morning routine. They can be some of the things from this, or they can be other things that you have in your own life. But I want you to make a list of things that you want to include in your morning routine. Something that I don't have in here that I would include is some of your basic personal hygiene stuff. Brush your teeth, shower, whatever it is. Make sure you include that in because it's definitely important. So go ahead and pause the video for 2 minutes. Make a list of several things you want to include in your morning routine. Remember, less is more. Okay, pause the video, get that done right now. All right, once you've done that, you have your list of the different things you want to put in your morning routine. Now I want you to put them in the order that you want to do them in. Go through your list and draw the 1 by this is the first thing I'm going to do in the morning. Okay, 2, this is the second thing. And start to make a plan of how these are all going to go, right? It's important to make a plan because we want to make sure, if you get up in the morning and then you shower and then it's like, oh, hey, I want to work out. You're going to be like, oh, shoot, I'm not going to work out today. I just showered, right? Like we have to make sure these are in an order that makes sense. Then by each activity, write in by it how long it's going to take you. Okay, this is also important, one, so we can budget our time, but also I want these things to be specific, not just, hey, I want to get up and read. I want it to be, I want to get up and read for 10 minutes. All right, and like I keep bringing up, start small, let the habit grow from there. Maybe you say, hey, I'm going to get up and read for 5 minutes. I'm going to get up and read for 6 minutes. All right, and then once you get in the habit of that, it's a lot easier to say, okay, instead of reading for 6 minutes, now I'm going to try reading for 12 minutes. All right, you can let the habit grow from there. Once you've put your times by all the different activities, add up the total time that all those activities is going to take. And then you can use that to determine how early you need to get up. If you've got to leave for work or start work at 8 o'clock and your morning routine is going to take you 50 minutes, okay, well, I have to be up at 7:10. Or if it's going to take you 2 hours, you're going to have to be up at 6 a.m. to go through your morning routine. And again, as you're doing this, make sure you budget your time in there for your basic, just personal hygiene things. All right, once you get that time, I want you to pull your phone out and go ahead and set the alarm right now. If you need to be up by 5:30 in the morning to have your morning routine, go ahead and set that alarm right now for 5:30 tomorrow. Now, tips for success for your morning routine. This is so important. I would include in there, this doesn't take any extra time, don't look at your phone. When you get up in the morning, there's this terrible habit people have. They get up and the very first thing they do is they grab their phone and they look at it, right? And they see, oh, I've got emails, I've got social media notifications, I've got all these other notifications from different apps. And it shifts our mindset from getting up with this peace for the day to now we're bombarded with things we have to do. And it shifts our mindset from being proactive to reactive. We look at our phone and now our phone starts telling us what to do. And it puts us first thing in the morning in the routine of letting other people tell us what to do with our time and what to do with our attention. I really want to encourage you for the first hour of your day or during your morning routine, just don't look at your phone. Get up in the morning. If you need to, don't use your phone for your alarm. If that's going to lead you into looking at your phone, use your iPad, use a digital alarm clock, right? Pull that out from the closet and use that so you can get up. And this time is just for you. You're not distracted by your phone. People are reaching out to you. And there might be a level of fear thinking like, well, what if somebody's reaching out and they needed my help? And I want you to remember this. If you normally get up at 6:30 in the morning and you look at your phone, and now you're going to get up at 5:30 in the morning so that you can go through your morning routine. If you didn't go through your morning routine, you wouldn't have been checking your phone anyways until 6:30 in the morning. Right? This is your bonus time. This is just your time. Don't look at your phone until after you've gone through your morning routine. And I'm sure that after you go through your morning routine, you won't even be excited to grab your phone because you're going to love the freedom you have first thing in the morning of having phone-free time. Super important. Have a consistent start time. Getting up, not only is this healthy, but getting up, hey, I'm going to get up every day at 6 o'clock, 5:30. Consistent time that you start your morning routine. Plan the night before. Make sure you make a plan to do these things the night before. If you just say, oh, I'm going to get up for my morning routine, instead of getting up at 6:30, I'm going to get up for 6, and I'm going to see what I feel like doing. you're probably going to find excuses not to get up and do the morning routine. Have a plan of what you're going to do with that time. That way, when you get up, you know what you're doing. It's going to be harder for you to click the snooze button because you have something that you're going to be dedicating that time towards. Sometimes I hear people say, hey, I'm not a morning person. That's fine. You will be. Just stay with it. I'll help you through that. Another tip, get up on your first alarm. That's going to be the third video that we go through in this training, how to get up on your first alarm. And I know I keep bringing this up, but start small. Less is more. I'd rather you have a small routine that you do every day and you build upon than to make a list of 6, 8, 10 different items that you want to do every morning and you set yourself up for failure. All right, start small and get started today. So looking at your morning routine, is there any reason you wouldn't be able to do this tomorrow? And if there is a reason, see if you can still somehow make this work tomorrow. Okay? Make the commitment right now that you're going to do this tomorrow. Set the alarm. Get started tomorrow. All right? Then once you have this new morning routine that you do tomorrow, after you go through it, don't do this during, because I don't want you on your phone or on social media during your morning routine. After you're done with it, make a comment in our Facebook group, Goal Crazy Morning. All right, we want to be here to help support and encourage you to get started with this new morning routine. So that way you have this new morning routine that's going to help you have a great day. And when you have great days, it's going to lead to an even greater life. All right, you guys, I'll see you in the next training. Let me know if there's something I can do to help.